Today in Human Design, we are talking about the reflectors, here to reflect the state of the world. Now, if that sounds huge, it's because it is. Reflectors only make up less than 1% of our population. I mean, talk about a huge, just unknowing role, right? If there's less than 1% of people, it's it's kind of hard to connect with other reflectors. They're very far and few between. And reflectors, even though they are the most rare type, they are like projectors in the sense that they are non-energy beings. So they don't produce their own energy. However, the reflector mirrors the energy of the tribe. And this is exactly why way back in the day when we lived in villages and tribes, the reflector was the healer of the community. It was the old wise counsel. If the reflector was sick, it was a direct reflection of the entire tribe or village not doing something well. So, yeah, big burden, but they are powerful, magnificent beings. So the reflector has all 9 centers open. This makes them extremely sensitive, right? They don't have anything defined. Now, the cool thing though is that they are the only type that is actually a lunar being. All the other types are solar beings, okay? So just like the moon reflects the light off of the sun, right? The reflector reflects the health and well-being of the community. So it's really important for a reflector to understand the moon, to cherish the moon, to really get in sync with moon cycles, and to be open to the lunar energy. Even though reflectors have all 9 centers open, they're not necessarily more open to conditioning than the other types. This is false information. I've heard it said before, and I just want to make it clear that that's not true. Reflectors have a resistance to them, and it's because their aura is one that goes out, it samples. It's not as vulnerable as the projector, right? The projector penetrates everything. If you come within 6 feet of the projector, it feels you, it has you, it holds you, okay? But the reflector samples. It goes out, it kind of tastes the energy, and then it decides if it's going to get close or not, or if it's actually going to be fully open or not. Now, reflectors aren't here to merge with other people, right? This is another thing, like, oh, the reflector needs me because I'm defined in this area. Nobody. That's not how this actually works. Reflectors are detached, and that's okay. It's actually very good for them to be detached. They're very much so a lone wolf in that aspect, though they won't do anything or very rare things alone, okay? Yes, they need their quiet time, but we'll get more into what they need in their counsel here in a little while. Now, due to their aura and the fact that it is sampling and that it is detached from other people, it's really this wonderful guide. Okay, once the reflector learns to articulate what is going on and how they're feeling and just all of the different things, that's when they shine. Because they have no defined centers, reflectors also do not have an inner authority like the other types do. So this is why they need to talk things over with loved ones when they're making decisions. This is their inner council, okay? This is their inner circle. It does not just have to be family members. These are people that love you and hold you close. And the thing is, you're not listening for their response. It's not if they say you can't. What's happening is by talking over the decisions, you can see the truth reflecting back from them. So they might say something and it will sit with you a certain way. Your inner knowing will be your compass. Now, you will also start to realize the things that are going on. So if they approach you with a fear, that is something that you're going to need to take in because you are probably afraid of something, right? If you're asking, counsel in a certain area and whoever you're going to is super, super enthusiastic, it might just be a butterfly effect, right? Like butterflies in the tummy, not butterflies like a ripple effect. They're excited, they're energized because it's something new and shiny. But new and shiny isn't always the right answer either. Okay, so it's important to ask, but it's also really important to follow your strategy. And your strategy is to wait a whole lunar cycle, which is 28 days. And waiting 28 days, your moon gets to move through all 64 gates. So you will experience all of the emotions, the fears, the doubt, everything that might come up will be fully experienced within that 21 days. Now, that 28 days. Now, that 28-day clock starts when the offer or the invitation has been made to you. So the moment something has been extended to you, that is when you need to sit on it for 28 days. Okay. And as the moon moves through your entire chart as a reflector, it will bring this constant feeling of change, okay? But that's okay. This is also your direction. It's important to understand that Monday you might be feeling different about it than you do on Thursday or next week on Wednesday or whenever. Every single day is going to bring up something different as your moon moves through your gates. Reflectors run into their non-theme self, which is disappointment, okay? When reflectors are disappointed with themselves, with the world around them, with situations, whatever it is, it's because they're feeling the pressure of making a decision too quickly. And when they see that their community is not functioning well or living up to its potential, that irks them because they feel it so differently than we do. And they see it so clearly because they are reflecting at all times the well-being of their entire community back to them. Reflectors are not here to be worker bees. However, they're usually the busiest people around. And once again, it's because they're amplifying and taking in everyone's energy. So especially live in like a big city, they could be buzzing all the time. Or maybe they're in a house of generators. So they're constantly taking in that generator energy, which is the largest type, right? So it's very common that they will be surrounded by generators. Reflectors who try to mirror that hard work and the hustle, grind, they will quickly burn out. They're going to discover that they can't maintain their energy, that they're tired, and eventually it will cause physical conditions, not just mental conditions, but physical conditions, such as burnout that will force them to get the rest that they need. Reflectors tend to do their best when they're on a smaller stage or surrounded by a group or a tribe that they feel protected by. Reflectors in positions that extend beyond their small group or their small tribe can reflect back where society has its light and where it has its darkness. Now, yes, for most people, that does feel like a really big task, but I would like to point out that the reflectors are designed for this, and because of their glorious sampling aura, they're not taking in everything. They are simply mirroring it. So they can look out onto the community, and they can see very specifically where the good is working and the good energies and the high vibe, and where it is not working and where it is not flowing. Like projectors, reflectors need lots and lots of rest. They need time to themselves. They need to discharge everyone else's energy that they've picked up throughout the day. And because they have so many open centers, right, all 9 of them, they can have more energy depending on who or where they are, right? But it is not consistent. So some reflectors energized by the beach or the ocean. Some feel energized in the mountains. Some feel energized in their room because they've made their own sacred space. It's also people, right? They will find somebody that is safe and close to them. And when they're with them, they are buzzing. But the same can also be true if they don't feel safe or protected. Their energy can also feel very gloomy. So more than anything, reflectors need to feel good. They need to be around people that make them feel good. They need to be in places that make them feel good. This is vital to their health. This is what will keep them healthy, right? I told you earlier that they get burnout and that reflectors will end up with physical ailments. That is because they're not doing what feels good. They're not around the people that feel good. And in this society, we have been conditioned that that's not the best, right? Like, oh, everything can't feel good. Everything's not roses and whatever other lies we've been told. And we think maybe it's selfish to feel good. But as a reflector, if you do not feel good, it is because of all the energies you're picking up. So when you're burnt out or when you're starting to get frustrated and angry and all of that, you've probably been overwhelmed by other people's anger, other people's energies altogether. And now you don't feel good because you weren't in the feel good energy. Be mindful of this. Reflectors are also our greatest teachers, and it's because they can show us the potential for our openness, right? This is expansion in its very basic form. Open centers are our windows, and reflectors by design show us that when we learn to detach from the energy that passes through our open centers, we can truly have that empathy towards other people. Now, I want you to remember, a lot of people think like, I'm so empathetic towards people. Empathy and being an empath are 2 different things, first of all. And empathetic or being empathetic means that you have your walls down. You got to put those guards down and be able to relate and feel into what other people are feeling into. But the key here is you got to detach from those energies, right? That is where the true empathetic magic happens, because you're not holding on to them. You're not making it your own. You're not getting caught up in whatever is going on. You are just open to receiving the energy from their center and then dismissing it. And that is the reflector. They're here to show us the state of the world. So if you have a reflector in your life, be careful. They will show you the truth and nothing but the truth.